Welcome to Mommy Moments. It's been a minute. We're back.
Finally. So, today's video is going to be the first of our homeschooling series. And it says, let's go on, and we're going to call it, let's go on an adventure in homeschooling.
Yeah.
So, the first question that we're going to address is, where do you start? So, this is one of the biggest questions that comes up in conversations about homeschooling. How do you start, or where do you start? It's the same thing, basically. And the answer is pretty simple. Number one, you start by learning yourself. Number two, homeschooling is more like a way of life than a curriculum, usually. There's exceptions, but usually when you talk to homeschoolers, they talk about the lifestyle rather than what you do on a day-to-day basis.
See, Kelly's homeschooled. I went to public school, so I'm learning just as much as you are.
Yes. So, if you have a child, congratulations, you've started. Because parenting is just teaching. And you've done it since they came home from the hospital with you. You know, when they're walking, talking, giving high fives, and sitting up for themselves and talking, that's all lessons you taught your child. So you're already a pro at this. Well, for, you know, the teaching part. So I'm gonna read some quotes real fast. I'll save that one later. Where is it? Yes. So this is by Louis L'Amour. He is an author of a ton of westerns. That's what he's known for, at least. And he wrote a memoir called The Education of a Wandering Man. And this quote says, "It is constantly reiterated that education begins in the home, as indeed it does. But what is often forgotten is that morality begins in the home also." So, education starts with you knowing what your morals are and what your family's morals are, and what you want your children to become as adults. Because if you don't know that, and if you don't figure that out, at least when they're small, then you won't exactly know where you want them to end up. And there's another quote somewhere in here that I would like to read that's on the same point. Too often, too much emphasis is set on what we want to have rather than what we want to become. And I really like that because, especially when you're starting out, you think homeschooling, academics. And homeschooling, yes, when you're talking about it for like school-age children, is about the academics. But you also want to instill your morals and values on your children so that they become decent people when they grow up. My train of thought left. Okay, and then there's this other quote that I would like to read, which is from our church's Sunday school manual for their young children. But I thought it was very applicable here. "We are responsible for our own learning." Where was it?
Great question.
Oh, yes. So it says, as you read, it says specifically the scriptures, with the children, and ask them questions, you can build their confidence that they can learn from the scriptures and find valuable treasures of knowledge. And that can be applied to any book, any academic pursuit, specifically math. As long as they know how to learn for themselves, that is the purpose of homeschooling. Any thoughts about what we've said so far?
I really like how it starts and it doesn't stop with the parents
Mm-hmm.
because you're learning along with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps you learn and grow as a mom or a dad,
Mm-hmm.
and understand how to mold and shape their learning style into your teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Sort of. It made sense in my head.
Yeah. Because we all learn differently.
Exactly.
And if we choose not to learn, because even in public school settings, people have chosen not to learn and get absolutely nothing out of being at school forever. Even if they go and get good grades and go on to college, after college they realize, I learned absolutely nothing valuable. And you have to choose that within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are influenced by their parents in that way too, because, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. You just...
So, number one, you have to start learning yourself. Because if they see you reading, they're going to be more likely to read. If they see you doing math, they're more likely to also practice doing the math.
Mm-hmm.
And as with anything else, you have to lead by example.
Kind of like a monkey see, monkey do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how they start learning language and everything else too. It's just they're doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're learning, they're going to learn too.
I like it. I'm excited for it. We're still trying to decide on if we're homeschooling or not, but this is helping us understand.
Or how you're going to
Or
do
how,
it.
that too. That's another way.
Because there's so many things, like whether or not you can afford to have both people home, whether your parents are going to be on board to help out, or, you know, stuff like that.
Because it also, not only does it help with the parents, the phrase, it takes a village to raise a kid, a child. And so, as you said, having a team really helps.
Yes.
Oh. So, for homeschooling, is there any like specific textbooks or like computers to start out with?
Okay, so this goes into what I was going to talk about in like next video.
Oh.
But
Whoops.
I can talk about it now. So, there's a whole bunch of different styles and techniques and mindsets for homeschooling. There's unschooling, which is a lot of just your child will learn when they're ready.
We can go into more depth on the next video about that.
My style that I was raised with, which is more like classic or leadership education, whichever you want to call it.
Kind of like a parent-led education in a way.
So that one's more based on classics.
Ah, okay.
So a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of like the Odyssey, a lot of book learning.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then there's like online schools and curriculums. Lots of different Christian curriculums. And there was one more that I was going to talk about. Oh, Montessori. Montessori has an offshoot of Montessori at home that's gotten really popular in the last few years. And that's mostly based on following your child and their development. And it's very interesting. So yeah, for curriculums, there's a ton to choose from. A lot online from everything, every kind of moral standpoint, and every age. And the good thing is, you don't have to choose just one. It's also a bad thing because then you have to choose. But yes.
Choosing is hard.
What was the original question?
The original question?
Yes.
Well,
That you read off. Do you need any textbooks or computers? So that's entirely dependent on how you want to do it and what fits best with your family. Because computers are great because you can also get the textbooks on them now.
Oh, sweet. That's cool.
But most people also have a computer already in their home. Or at least a phone. So, yeah.
Like right now, Faye is doing ABC Mouse on an iPad.
Yeah.
So
they're not needed,
but they're
very helpful.
Yes.
And it's your job as the parent to provide whatever resources you want your children to have access to.
Okay.
Whether that is a curriculum led by somebody else or just reading from books with your children. So yeah. Books. So
what are some advantages between homeschool and public school? I'm disappearing.
So,
Woo.
I don't know, what was the advantage of public school for you?
So for public school for me, I really enjoyed this getting out of the house. And I didn't like getting up early every day, but it gave me the opportunity to go and socialize and see other people that I don't see on a day-to-day basis. And it also helped me get up and move because I had to go from class 1 to 10 classes between 2 days and for different subjects. But I really enjoyed mainly my friends being there.
Yes.
And some of the activities that went on.
Oh, another thing is, a lot of the public schools, specifically high school and junior high, have a place or a thing where you can choose a class and go to it anyway, even if you're not enrolled in the school.
That's cool. I like that.
And clubs too, because like some of my friends did ballroom, some of them did music class and band, and I had a friend who was on the football team and was doing something advanced science class.
Like a
with high
IP
school
college class or something? Something like that.
Yeah, I personally never did, but that's because I was deathly afraid of public schools. Their environment was very sketchy. Anyway. Cuteness. Cuteness. So some of the advantages of oh my goodness.
Keeping this in.
Oh my goodness. So adorable. Some of the advantages of homeschool is I definitely know how to learn and I enjoy it. Because like even when just researching some stuff for this video and the next ones, I was having a blast. If I didn't have a toddler who also needed me, I'd probably have studied for hours just on the topic of homeschooling. And I've done that consistently for pretty much everything that I've ever studied. I'm a really big history buff, not necessarily modern history, and I can't tell you any numbers to save my life.
It's okay.
But that's because I'm dyslexic in numbers, I swear. And dates. I can't remember dates. But I can remember stories.
Same.
Okay.
Like,
I should probably save my child.
for me, I'm like you, but I can't remember math to save my life. But I can remember somebody from way back when, or I can see their face and remember, be like, oh, I know who you are, kind of a thing. Like, why can't you work in this?
Yes. And I can only remember dates if they have a word attached to them. So like months, I can remember the month, not what number it is. I have to count.
Same.
So yeah, I love to study. And that's not generally something you hear from somebody who's been in the public school system their whole life. I mean, there are some exceptions, obviously.
I mean, my favorite thing when I was in public school was art, and I still do art to this day, and it's pretty much helped me mentally, but it gave me an out, like I could zone in on something and continue to use it even when I'm not in high school or in junior high or whatever I was in at the time. So,
and especially for me, being homeschooled helped a ton because I knew when I was like 5, I wanted to be a mom and an author. And you just need to know English for that. I mean, obviously, if I want to teach my kids math, I have to know math. But
that's where I don't come in. I struggle.
But luckily, I married somebody who's good at math.
Same.
So, yeah.
But
so I learned a lot of practical life stuff as well, which my poor public school friends sometimes, I'm like, oh, honey, you don't know how to cook grilled cheese without burning it? Oh, I wish I could help you. You're all the way in Idaho.
I mean, it also depends on how hot their stove is.
Yes. But like, they were confident that they could make grilled cheese because they made it before. And then lost all confidence in themselves with cooking after burning their grilled cheese.
Oh, it's sad.
So that was sad. I think they're doing a little bit better now, but that's after like a year of practice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Practice makes progress, but not without patience, as I always say.
Yes. So I personally love the practical life side of it, and being able to learn how to learn, which will then open you up to all of the other things that come with learning.
It also from what I've heard, it also kind of gives you self-discipline. Because you've got to be able to, in a way, have kind of a structure so that you're not having like months in between lessons.
Yeah. And again, you have to choose in. You have to choose to do it yourself. Because parents can force you, teachers can force you, but it's not gonna do a darn thing if you don't choose it.
Yeah, you seem to do better when it's your idea versus when it's someone else's idea. You struggle more.
Yeah,
I know that. I've noticed that in myself, honestly. So,
one thing I've noticed about public school is that it does prepare you more for workplace jobs.
yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye, Faye.
I don't know where you're going.
She's going to the office.
Oh. Because, yeah, with work stuff, I hated every second of my job. Not because I hated what I was doing, because I've only had 3 jobs. One was making smoothies, one was sewing full-time, and one was helping people out at a craft store. The work was fine. I hated working though. I hated having to arrange my schedule around something that was then draining in my energy because I'm an introvert. And then staying there until somebody else told me I could leave. Hated that. Absolutely hated that. But again, that's not exclusive to being homeschooled because I know plenty of people who do that who went to public school as well. Hi. But they're more used to the routine of going somewhere they hate already. And,
I love my job.
job.
It's very nice because I can because I work for a family company, for my family company. So I can maneuver if I need to. I can work from home. Or if I need to, I go to my workplace a few times a week so that I get different structures. So, but I can take my kid with me, one of my kids with me. And the other one stays with grandma and does school at home. So
That was another thing. I was super excited for it when I was gonna do more academic stuff. Can't do it because they're gonna move 2 hours away, but I was really excited to go and do stuff with my mom, with my kids. And I was gonna call it grandma school. And so I'll have to do a 2-hour drive before I do it now, but that was something I was really, really excited to do because my mom does have experience homeschooling. There's 8 kids in my family. To mentally count. And so she's had quite a bit of experience, especially with like different learning styles.
because each one of your siblings learned differently, which was kind of cool. And to top off of that, why? So, as you said before, with homeschooling and public schooling, you can kind of, you're able to do kind of, if you need to, do both, but not fully integrate into public school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I mean, there is a schooling at home thing as well, where it's you take whatever your local public school's curriculum is, and you just have a tutor come over like every week or so with all the homework from all those classes to go through with you. Which one of my friends did that, and it's not the same like lifestyle wise, but it is a little bit similar in the other ways.
Yeah, because my sister, she was in a car accident back in 2018, and so she had to go from, like, it was super bad, femur broken and everything.
Yeah.
And so she had to go from public school, switch, do home classes, and then eventually she ended up doing homeschool online.
Yeah. So, like, what COVID did to everybody's schooling is usually what is the school at home thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, but we're not going to get into all of the questions because we want to save some for later videos. But hopefully this has answered some of your questions about where to begin. I know it answered some of mine. And how to like center it in your life and become more what's the word?
Confident?
That.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. But we are excited to continue to share our knowledge, Kelly, and as much as I know about this topic. And if you have any questions that you have that you want to ask us, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're very excited for our future in this subject. So
Yes. And also your insights just as a mom are very, very important.
oh yes,
Because we all have intuition, and what we feel is best for our children is usually, on the right track.
yeah,
Sometimes we go a bit overboard with worrying, but,
that's part of being a mother.
part of being human.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. Please don't forget to spread the word of our channel and to like, comment, and subscribe. And so, thank you.
See you later.
Bye.